Overconfidence. Don't you know, rank it up. You got to rank it up. Don't you know, rank it up. You gotta rank it up.
Oh God, okay. We don't have to do the whole song. Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of Ranking Up. Oh no, Jake just had his vaccine, so his arm's hurting. I had mine as well, so both of our arms are kind of hurting.
I'm not crying though.
Other than that, we're doing pretty good. Thank you so much for you guys, to you guys for your support for the last episode. We're gonna answer some questions at the end of this episode that you guys had from the last one because I felt bad I couldn't answer everybody's questions. But we're also gonna answer some questions from the Discord as well. So make sure you guys join the Discord. The link will be in the description. But without further ado, let's get into it because today we're talking about how to be confident, how to gain confidence, and how to, I guess, feel more confident in life, in Valorant, in esports, and also at the end I'll be talking about more kind of on-camera talent, journalist, interviewee kind of stuff. What are you smiling at?
As I say, in bed. But we don't talk about that one.
We're not the right people to ask about that one, but we are going to bring out a dating episode in the future because you guys do ask us a lot of questions like that. So we're going to kick everything off with, I'd say, probably the topic you get asked not the most, but I think top 3 when it comes to the game of Valorant, which is how do you become confident as a player inside the game. So like being able to make your calls and also being able to kind of like believe in yourself and your abilities essentially.
Yeah, I mean, so with confidence, it's like tossing a coin some days for me, and then I might not be feeling it. But I think when I was younger, going into gaming and whatnot, and like previously, I cared a lot about if I felt good or if I felt like I'm going to do well today. But generally, confidence comes from preparation for me now. So I feel confident when I feel like the team is prepared, whether it's strats, whether it's like aim wise. Like if I've been deathmatching every day, I've got no reason to not feel confident, you know. So I guess it's a way of, for confidence for me, it's a way of like how I use my time practicing with the team for me to be confident. So if I feel like I've been doing aggressive plays, but they're set plays, then even if I'm not feeling so-called confident, I can still do those plays because it's a set play. Like if I say we're going to do Ferrari B, you best believe we're going to be doing Ferrari B, even if you don't believe that you're going to get the kills, you know? But generally, as an IGL as well, I can't have doubts like that. If I call like, yo, we're going to do it in overtime, 13-13, and it's probably not the best call, but I've already called it now. So, like, if I go back on myself, it shows somewhat a bit of doubt for my team. So that's how confidence as an IGL and as an overall team, how I try to look at it and how I think people should look at it, kind of.
Well, I have 2 questions. So first of all, in terms of the preparation phase, I reckon a lot of people watching this or listening to this probably aren't in a structured team or aren't playing with people who have the same commitments and similar mindset. So what would your advice be to maximize your preparation in order to, when game time comes, feel more confident?
So if you don't have a lot of structure in your team, the way that you can feel more confident, there's the cheesy stuff of looking in the mirror and saying like you're the best.
You did do that.
I did do that sometimes. I used to do that. Don't need it anymore though. No, I joke. So I'd say if you're not in a structured team, the way you should do it is when you're in practice, you have habits, you have tendencies that you like to do, whether it's like you like holding this position, you like pushing this position, you like playing like here or here. And in each one of these positions, you've practiced it so much that you kind of have reactions and ideas of what to do. And that's kind of how you should be practicing individually. You have your positions, you play them, and then you don't have to believe in confidence. Never hesitate in a game. If you feel like this is the decision you're going to do, even if it's dumb, you just do it, because generally I feel like the moment you hesitate is the moment that you'll actually like lose an aim battle. Like the amount of times in Counter-Strike even and Valorant where I've been like, oh, should I push this? But you see me all the time now. Like if there's a smoke, I might just push through it because I just believe that no one's there, and it's like years and years of like hesitation has now made me no longer hesitate, because the amount of times I've watched myself back and going, oh, why didn't I just push? Like if I didn't waste that 1 extra or 2 extra seconds pushing, I would have had a good timing or a better position for when the enemy did peek me. So that's kind of how you should look at it.
Well, my second question is that, you know, there is a difference between confident and believing in your abilities, and like you said, just not hesitating, and pure stupidity. And I think obviously this applies more in pro play. Like those kind of stupid recklessness can either pay off really well because you have the element of surprise, because your enemies are like, why is this guy holding this angle, or why is this guy pushing through this smoke? Or we've seen also players that are overly reckless or overly aggressive or maybe overly confident that costs them. So how would you say, well, again, I'm going to split this in two parts. So one is, at what point do you identify something as stupid or as reckless? And second, how do you stop yourself from doing that? Because I think a lot of players in solo queue especially are going to be a little bit stupid.
Well, you just have to read the situation. Like, do I need to push here? Yes or no? And then that is kind of your first decision. And no would be like, you don't need to push because it's a 5v3. Probably. You probably don't need to push in a 5v3 unless you're 10 HP and you want to go find info.
But so is that situation you've identified here something where you would suggest someone to be aggressive and confident?
I mean, it's not the end of the world if you die if you're 10 HP, because like even Fallen in CSGO used to say that if his teammates were low, he'd sometimes make them push just because info is really crucial, because then you can get the rotations in and whatnot. But in between recklessness and thingy, it's really hard to know, to be honest. It's just about like, what agent am I playing? What utility do I have? If I have any, that is like important utility, and like where is the majority of the comms coming from in terms of what my teammates are saying? Like, is the other side getting aggressed on? Like, aggressed, is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
Is the other side getting aggressed on? Is the enemy team using utility over there? If so, then maybe I can actually push this. And then it's kind of like that. And that's the confidence where you're able to read it and you're like, okay, I'm able to push this. Oh, do I push? I don't know, actually. If I die, like, I'm going to lose my team the round. And then you end up doing this and you end up just like
not doing anything.
It's not the right mentality to have. You're better off just kind of being like, F it. Just go, F it, let's go.
Back yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned a couple of things that I thought was really interesting that I also want to talk about. So I think this is a good time to talk about it, which is the concept of fake it till you make it. So no one kind of like pops out the womb with a healthy ego and is really confident, right? And I think I'm 100% someone throughout my life. I mean, we're both a little bit older now, so I think we have the benefit of like hindsight and the benefit of growth. But definitely for me, for the first 25 years of my life, I was very much like, fake it till you make it. Even if I don't feel confident, or even if I have a lot of self-doubt, which, you know, like that's one of my biggest flaws. Like sometimes my doubt and my anxiety like clogs me up. I always kind of adopted, just slap it on, and then I kind of convince myself into feeling that way. So would you say that you felt like that too, or you've kind of adopted those tactics in your career as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was younger, I tried to fake it, and then there are often times where I might have had like a bad streak of games. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing very well. And then you end up thinking like, oh, I'm just not very good. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this. And then you end up going down a sinkhole. So, but now, I'd say it did happen to me a little bit where I said to Sue like, oh man, I am playing so dog these past few days. Like, I don't know what's going on with me. And then it was in prac anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And when it came to the official, I had a good official, and then I was like, I am so unreal. Sue, I'm amazing at this game.
Krispy
and then,
Kreme.
yeah, I think sometimes it's not always going to go your way, but as long as you're like practicing hard and working hard on your individual self, and you're both mentally and in game, then the moment you have a good game, you'll be back on it. It's kind of like that. There are slumps. Every athlete has slumps, esports or football and whatnot, like sporty athlete. But But it's just about, that's all the mental game. It's all about just resetting.
Yeah, I think what's good about a mental game as opposed to a physical like mechanics. Obviously, if I want to go pro, I probably will never be able to go pro. But the good thing about mentality,
Yeah.
hey, I'm plat two, I'm plat three. No, I'm plat two in Uno.
Everyone's like, plateau in
I'm plat two in Uno.
Uno.
But the good thing about your mentality and having a strong mental game is that you can change that. That's the great thing about anything that's to do with your mind and anything to do with having like a mental edge, is because you can train it, in my opinion, slightly easier than like being good at the game. Like climbing solo queue is sometimes impossible, but if you wanted to be a positive person and you wanted to have more confidence, you can definitely gain it. Like that is something that anybody can
It's on
do.
you.
Yeah, that's not something like, I'm never going to be able to be like Scream, but if I wanted Screams, we talk about Scream a lot on this podcast.
We like Scream.
But if I wanted to have Scream's mentality, or in your guys' case, if you want to have Boaster's mentality, you can. Random example, but if your dream is to become like, I don't know, a rap artist, a rapper, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm not that good, I don't have like a record deal, I'm young, I don't know what to do. Often the first thing you do in that is just tell yourself like, I'm pretty fucking good. Like, I can do this. My music is not bad. I'm going to feel confident about what I'm doing, and that's going to set you up on a way better path than you sitting there being like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. I have so much against me. Because honestly, if you look at some of the other people's careers, a lot of people have started with nothing, or a lot of people have had so many setbacks. But again, being confident is not easy. And I know a lot of people are naturally introverted, so it feels so hard for you to come out of that shell. But it's definitely something I think is possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like if we're going into introverts and extroverts, I think when the camera's on me, I'm a massive like extrovert, or when I'm around people, I'm a massive extrovert. And that might not necessarily mean that I'm a confident person, but it just means that I'm confident enough to be an absolute clown, in a nice way.
But you know yourself. I think that comes from knowing who you are.
And I felt like in life I've gained more from being super like positive and a clown person, like clowny, like joking around, like, and being like almost like a Jack Russell, the dogs, like I've gained more from doing that than if I was to just be kind of like, yo, how you doing?
Yeah, 100%.
Like people like me because of that, and that's inside of the game and just in kind of general life as well.
Well, I think moving on to general life, I don't know how much you're willing to share, but I know you're usually quite good with sharing stuff about you. But I think the general consensus is like, oh my God, Boaster is such a confident, charismatic guy. Like, how do you do this? Like, what do you do? What's your secret? But I think it's important to address that out, like, before all of that, before you were able to kind of become that kind of person, and deep down in yourself, you've also had a lot of like insecurities and things that you haven't been confident about pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I've got insecurities. I've always, mine's not really a sob story though.
It's not a sob story, but I think people will be surprised to know that.
Yeah, I'm not always like confident in everything I do, in stuff, there are things that I'm not so confident in, but I tend to not really be doing those stuff anyway. So the stuff that I am confident in, which is like talking to people, performing, because I obviously did musical theatre, so I obviously like performing, singing, dancing, acting, and me going up on stage is like going up on any other stage, like even I always get like nervous and like, or adrenaline. You can either call it nerves or you can call it excitement. So I like to say excited, and that's why my whole body feels like it's going to break down before every official. But that could be to do with confidence as well, and that's why, quickly going back to VALORANT, that's why as an IGL, what I need to do is make sure that I've done everything I can possible, which is why I'm up to like 1 a.m. on blooming game days and whatnot. Especially at Iceland, I was constantly at the PC I was making set strats, changing comps, changing play styles within 5 hours of every evening, because I just was in the zone, obviously, then, but also because I wanted to feel confident and comfortable going into any game. Like when we went into crew, I knew what they're doing, and then they didn't change it. So then I just had a big uplift of like what I'd say confidence. I was like, I know what they're doing, boys. We've won. I can read them, and it was the same against each opponent we played. It was harder against version 1 because they switched it up quite a bit. Obviously with the comp changes, they caught us off guard. But I still had the game plan. With Liquid, there was a game plan. New turn, I didn't get to anti-strat. So you could tell that we lost the map there, but also I didn't know, I had to read kind of on the fly. Mini had some anti-strats, but my confidence was like...
50-50.
Yeah, but mechanically I was like, yeah, I think we're better than them. Like, we were playing them unbind and we were tired and whatnot, and we were winning, and they were like good, but it just felt like we've got this win. Like, we've struggled all day and all week. Like, I ain't going out now, and we come back in the final map, obviously.
I mean, you jumping in the teleporter on bind to get the 2K is a definition of confidence.
That was like, if I let them get the plant, if I take my time and I don't let them go, then I've lost a round. So the only play I could do was stop the bomb planter from getting into showers. So I just had to kind of be like,
see, yeet, I'm going.
It was really fortunate.
I'm
they could have won that, but
yeah.
And then when it came to Sentinels, I was just faking it till you make it. I was like, boys, we're better than them. And look at this. Even after 13-11 or overtimes and stuff, I was like, we actually are better. Like, I was trying to get into my head that we were
hype
and
it
stuff.
up.
Yeah.
I think...
Sorry, I went back to Valorant, my bad.
That's all right, no problem. I think the other thing I want to speak about is a lot of the people that I think watch us or listen to us are younger than us, because there aren't many people that are older than us in esports anyway. But I definitely want to talk about how to overcome things that other people make you not feel confidence about. So more often than not, things that you are insecure about or things that you don't feel confident about comes from somewhere, right? You don't just wake up one morning and go, oh, I'm a bit insecure about my height, or like you don't just wake up one morning and go, oh, I'm a bit insecure about my weight, and so on. But I think if people are gonna pick on you about it, bully you about it, or kind of fixate about it, your flaws, you're gonna over time become like really unconfident about those kind of things. So do you have any examples of that happening to you, and how did you overcome that to kind of feel more confident?
No, I think I was very fortunate. And the only confidence I had was looking young for my age. So then I always felt like I was like not very confident in that department, whether it was like...
I think dating, that definitely got in the way for you.
So that was like a kind of new thing for me, kind of to learn and get better at. Luckily, all you got to do, peeps listening to this, is surround yourself with people that don't do that to you.
With the you looking young thing, I know you weren't particularly feeling like you were bullied about for it or anything like that. No. But how did you get over feeling unconfident about the fact that you did look a bit young? Well, not a bit young, quite young for your age.
So I think with me and kind of how I stopped caring was solely due to me being like, I have other focuses in life that I kind of prefer, and I'm not bothered about how I look, really, which is why I wear League of Legends t-shirts even though they're kind of nice, and I have bad haircuts sometimes, but yeah, everyone goes through stages of like whether they care or don't care about certain things, and I guess my values now are solely focused on gaming and relationships and family, and that's pretty much it. And just being nice, or trying to be anyway.
Amen.
So,
well, I think from my end is a bit different, because we have very different like upbringings and very different experiences in life. It's quite funny because like so many of our experiences, like the spectrum is the total opposite. But I think for me,
we've merged together.
But I think that's why we have so much to talk about,
to make babies. No, I'm joking.
I'm good, thank you. But I think that's why we have so much to talk about, though, because we always have different perspectives on things. But I think for me, I was bullied like all my life, and I was picked on all my life, and even now I get bullied. I mean, I feel like you would at this point, being in the position that I am, and I think I definitely developed lots of insecurities early on. I think it was more to do with like my looks when I was a lot younger. And I think as a woman, especially in esports, that's quite standard.
And I think as
Yeah.
women in general, like
Yeah.
guys can sometimes look how they want, and we can be confident in that.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's different for women.
No, I think some guys will still feel like a little bit insecure or very insecure here and there.
Yeah.
But obviously, I can only speak if my experiences as a woman. So I think for me, I always joke about how like I was ugly until I was 18. I'm pretty sure I was ugly until I was 18. But people, you guys would be surprised. Like I've been in relationships where my ex-boyfriends have told me that I was ugly. I don't know why I stayed in that relationship. But so for me, the way that I got over it was pretty strenuous, but I think it also depends on how severe you guys feel in terms of like confidence issues. Obviously for me, you know, having the confidence to even be on a camera, surely you'd think that I don't think I'm ugly, right? Because if I'd really thought I was really, really ugly, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to be on camera. So how did I sort of get from that to this point? I think one of the most important piece of advice I was ever given is that people don't care about you as much as you think they do. Like people will say something to you and then dip, or people will bully you, or people will make you feel like they hate you, or make you feel like they're always got something against you. But like 99% of the times, people are so obsessed with themselves and constantly thinking about themselves, not in a bad way, but just like they've got their own problems, they've got their own world they live in, that they don't really give a shit about you. Like, I don't mean that as the people, families and friends you guys have, but just like people that troll you, or people that hate you, or people that bully you, or people that make you feel like you're not confident. So it does take a lot of weight off your shoulders when you sit there and you think, oh, X, Y, and Z think I'm ugly. But really, they probably don't even think that. They're not even thinking about you.
They probably don't care.
Yeah, and they honestly probably don't care. I mean, if they express that opinion, then they're an asshole, and that's not your fault. Like, you're not the problem here. If someone is going to come at you and make you feel unconfident about yourself, they're the problem. So if anything, you should just feel a little bit sorry for them and distance yourself. Like Jake said, just kind of like don't surround yourself with that kind of people. And another thing I think kind of helped me is that everybody has opinions. Like, we have opinions as well, and privately you never know what people are talking about and not talking about, and you don't have enough time in the world to absorb every single opinion of every single person. Now, I fall victim to this every now and then, and it takes me a while to like get back into this mindset. But if I was to be here and read every single person's opinion, like if I had the superpower to read minds of every single person in the world, and I were to sit here and spend all my time and all my days to absorb those opinions, I will be here forever.
You'd be best IGL.
Yeah. So I think a good exercise for you is to get a notepad and just write down like 5 people that you really care about, and like 5 people that you really, really love. They don't even have to be people you know. And then think about what these 5 people have ever said about you, or to you, or thought about you. Then those are the only 5 people in the world's opinion that you should care about under any circumstance ever. When it comes to negativity. Positivity, you can open up your bubble and absorb it, you know, like a spore, you get on it. But negativity, those 5 people, and you keep that in your mind so you don't let that affect you. Again, I fall victim to that sometimes. And my last piece of advice is that this is a cliche advice, what I'm about to give you. This is like a Tumblr quote on the back of like a sunset, or like 2 people walking down rail tracks holding hands with daisies. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, exactly. But if you're not going to take advice from somebody, as in like if somebody's going to give you advice and you're like, I'm not going to listen to that, why should I listen to that? Then you definitely do not need to take their opinion at all whatsoever. Like, some people just don't deserve your attention. So if you're someone that feel affected by what other people say and that makes you feel unconfident about yourself, I think you should just like try out these 3 things and really, really be mindful about it. Like, really think about the people like you care about and what they think of you. On that note, I'm going to just quickly talk about being on camera. And it's funny because last week's episode, both of our advice was really similar. We had like a good theme of how to get noticed, don't be toxic, be a nice person. And this week, our advice also match, because I think developing confidence and being confident on camera is 99.9% preparation. Just like Jake said, it's like 0.1% just like flexibility, like on the spot when you have to make something up, but that will come with preparation, because there's only a finite amount of things that can happen when you're on camera. Yes, maybe a meteor will hit the earth and you didn't prepare for that, but most of the situations you have prepared for. So it's not really much like Valorant, where you can like prepare, do kind of routines and prepare and kind of be on top of things.
There's always things that get thrown in, the spanners in the works.
Exactly. But on the camera, being on camera, if you've been on camera 100 times in your own time before you're on camera live, or you're on camera doing an interview, you're going to be so much better than anybody who's never been on camera before and is being thrown in front of a camera for the first time ever. So if you're someone that genuinely wants to get more on camera experience as either like a journalist or an interviewer or a host or a caster or any of those kind of things, or maybe you're like a pro player that want to develop more content or be on camera on live broadcast as an interview, I would honestly, you don't even need a camera for this. Maybe just like a webcam, like a C920 or something. Everybody has a C920, I feel. And you just sit there. You find any interview. It can be mine. It can be Dash. And it can be Golden Boy. Like anybody in Valorant. Or it doesn't even have to be Valorant. Shocks, Law, Machine, Freya,
now,
Frankie.
If you miss anyone out, they're going to be like, why is she not mentioning me?
Anyone. And you find any of their interviews just at any point, and the questions they asked, and you just sit there and answer them. That's it. You just practice. If you do 10 interviews and you just sit there and answer them, and what I always do is I do one take where I'm being very professional and I'm like, hello, hi Boaster, welcome to Upcomer, Yinsu here. Congratulations on coming second at VCT now. And then I ask my question as a practice, and then I do a take two, which none of you guys see, but if you do want to see it at some point, maybe I release it because it's just me being a clown. And then I do a take two where I go, and welcome to Upcomer, contestant number 1. We have a Boaster, and I do something really stupid and comical and just clownery. Just for the fun of it, and I would watch it back, and more often than not, there are things that you find in your take two that's like kind of relaxing and funny, and it makes you feel like you're having fun that you want to incorporate in your more serious interviews. So if you guys watch my interviews, I'm normally always like, unless it's very serious, I'm always normally like smiling or like making some hand gestures or laughing or asking some stupid questions every now and then, like stupid fun questions. I think I asked Bone Cold why he was called Bone Cold, because I heard a rumor that he made his name purely because he thought it would sound sick when like CSGO casters would be like, Bone Cold with a 3K. And that was one of the better interviews I did on air. And I think I asked Angel about his cat or something stupid. But
dog.
Yeah, yeah, it was his dog. If you do one take, like I said, one take just serious, how you want to do it. Second take, clownery. So if you're a player, for example, and you're being interviewed, and Machine goes like, "Oh, that OT was very tense there. Like, what happened?" You just make up some shit on the spot. We'll do it now. We'll do a mock.
Okay, I'm ready.
We'll do a mock one. So we do one serious and one clown. Okay. And welcome back to Ranking Up. Boaster, what a great episode last week. What was your experience like? That was your first ever podcast.
Yeah, I thought the experience was a really good experience. I think I experienced quite a lot and I leveled up. Yeah, I think we did pretty well. We talked for quite a bit, and I didn't manage to yawn. So I think I'm pretty proud of myself there.
Yeah. I think you did yawn, but I cut it out. So
oh, nice.
I did you a favor.
Thank
there.
you. Well, me can't hold them in sometimes.
Okay, cool. That was probably a normal vibe, I think.
See, that's normal vibe for me, but normal vibe for me is clown for everyone else.
It is. Yeah. And now I will do a clown question, and I will go. Jake, Aaron, Howlett, where do I even start? I cannot believe we've got you on the Ranking Up podcast. You know, I would kiss your feet if I could, but I know you don't like it when people tickle your feet. So
how would you know that? What the hell?
What is this with your feet? Do you have a feet issue? Why is it that I can tickle everywhere else in your body, even your eyelid that one time, but you won't let me tickle your feet?
No comment.
No, clown.
What do you mean? How can I clown that? You're telling everyone that you tickle every part of my body.
It's technically
even
true.
my ball sacks.
I mean, it's true.
That's not
true.
true.
It's not a lie.
That is downright ridiculous. Will not. You think I got energy for doing clowning?
Yeah, I mean, Jake did have his vaccine, so but
I
you
can
get
barely
the point.
move. I've just been sat here.
You guys get the point. So that would be my best advice for you. And obviously, when you get on camera, there's always going to be things that go wrong a little bit. So just relax and have fun. The more relaxed you are on camera, the more relaxed the viewer will feel. Trust me. It's like humans, we mimic each other's behaviors. We're animals at the end of the day. So if you're smiling and having a great time, everyone at home is smiling and having a great time. But if you're stood there stiff and shitting your pants, everyone at home is going to feel a little bit awkward for you.
Stiff and pooing.
Yeah, it's not the best combination. So I just realized what you meant. Anyway, I guess now we're going to move on to some questions before this episode gets too long. We're going to start off with some questions from last week. So the first question is from Ark Seiko from Twitter. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the question.
He said, this will be for you. Number one, does age matter to organizations with their scouting players?
I think to a certain extent, age does matter. It really depends what sort of players, but in my opinion, age doesn't matter. But because you're signing long contracts, it's more appealing if you're an 18-year-old because you're young and you've got years to grow than if you were coming up into your 30s. But I think it's still achievable even then. Like, no, there's no set range of esports age. I must retire here.
Question number two, do you think it's ever too late to want to become a professional player? We are going to do an episode on this, so just give a short answer.
I think it's never too late to be a professional player. The only reasons to stop you from going pro are motivation, injuries, and probably... I must admit that if you are slightly older, it might be harder for you to be more appealing to orgs.
Nice. Second question is from Freed, the guy that came up with your copy pasta legend. I think this is more for me. I've always wanted to become a caster. I believe that casters are at least 25% of the esport. It'd be boring casters kill games and amazing ones can make watching paint dry interesting. But me being 16 and not sure where to start, I'm pretty lost. Now, you being 16 is a good thing because you have so much time ahead of you. I didn't become a host until I was 26, like properly, like a real host until I was 26. So you have 10 years, and that's good news, buddy. I think you being 16 also means I feel like you're still at school maybe. So I would definitely make sure you stay in school and keep up with your studying. And if you want practice to become a caster, I think... Again, I'm not a caster, so I'm not the best person to answer this, but most of my caster friends all started with casting literally community games. So, for example, in Boaster's Discord, if you want to ever jump in a Discord, we're doing custom 5v5 games, you're very welcome to come and practice your casting. And this offer also extends to everyone else as well. So you can just jump in and just practice and just go for it. Or you can, practice casting over existing VODs. And a lot of casters do that as well. So you can go and cast other VODs. It doesn't even have to be Valorant, any games you want. And from there, you build up a good show reel and a good social media and you get your name out there. Also, find a good duo. So find someone you like casting with. Make sure you know if you want to be a play-by-play or color. Again, you can change between these two. I know people that have, but... kind of knowing that is going to be good for you to get a start on, because if someone is looking for a duo and they want to look for a play-by-play and you are a confident play-by-play who's been practicing like VODs and stuff, it's going to be easier for you to find a duo than just kind of throwing yourself out there to be like, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know where I want to be, I'm kind of just throwing the net out there. So definitely get on those things. Next question is from Amal Gregory Sir Bungala on Twitter. Boaster, how do you think players from less prominent regions such as Southeast Asia, where there are lack of tournaments, prize pools, orgs, and other resources, should try and get noticed on the global stage? I know you guys are EU, but I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts.
I think obviously it's a lot harder for smaller regions to get noticed. I was a small region in Counter-Strike throughout the whole period and I couldn't get noticed. I think honestly it's about finding 5 people and just working your socks off and qualifying for an event. Like that's the biggest way. If you look at like X10, Crazy Raccoon,
Singular Raccoon.
New Turn even as well, like all great teams, but because they went to this event that just went by and they qualified for it, I know it's like tough competition to get there, but because they qualified it for it, they got their names out and they got the experience, and I think that's the way to do it. Like any events that are going on, tournaments, whether it's for 1,000, 100 or 100,000 prize pool or whatnot, just try and just get the experience all that you can. I mean, we were doing lava series for $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
I think it was prize pool for 250 first. I can't remember, but it was a good tournament. Yeah, those were the beginning stages because I told my boys we need experience.
None of you got invited,
and we need practice in the in tournaments and that kind of feel, that vibe.
I also think good social media always helps because I think these days, because you can connect with people from all different regions no matter where you're from, so if you are someone from the Southeast Asia, you can still kind of like gain fans from other places. It's no one's stopping you from doing that. So I definitely think being smart with your social media, and a lot of things we said in the last episode as well. Okay, we're gonna move on to questions for this week to finish everything off. So Cat Lateral said, you spoke before about having a good diet is important before competing, but what about supplements such as fish oils and etc etc? Big boy question. I know you may not even understand what I just said.
Yeah, I mean I've got some vitamins, haven't I? I got vitamin D, fish oil, and some magnesium. They seem to have helped with my wrist pain because I had a wrist pain at the start of the game. Yinsu sorted me out with those vitamins and got me an arm brace kind of thing to sleep when I'm in bed at night, and I've had no problem since, and I've got exercises that I do as well, and I'm kind of sorted now.
Yeah.
I think they do help.
I think supplements are always going to help. You just have to know what's good for you and what works for you and what doesn't.
You could say they're expensive pee, but I think they're worth it.
They are worth it. Sunset is Weird on Discord asks, how to trust yourself? Every time I think of something I want to achieve, I would end up thinking I'm useless, and also how to not procrastinate.
Well, everyone procrastinates. Like, there's times where I need to think of a strat and I'm there waiting 20 minutes looking at random YouTube videos, listening to songs and whatnot.
The best advice for procrastination is front load your pain. I say this to Jake all the time. So if it's something you really don't want to do, for example, like going to the gym, like you just can't be bothered today, you don't want to go, when you feel yourself feeling that way, you have to say out loud or in your head to yourself, front load your pain. So get the painful stuff out of the way straight up. Just do it. Just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. And just repeat that to yourself until you do it. It doesn't always work, but over time, you'll get into a habit of not procrastinating, I'd say.
Yeah, that is just about discipline. Generally, when you've got a tournament the next day, you haven't really got time to procrastinate anyway. So that's a good motivation.
And then, what was how to trust yourself. Every time I think of things I want to achieve, I would end up thinking I'm useless. Maybe I can answer that.
Well, that's like you. If you're already thinking you're useless straight after it, then something's going wrong there. And yeah, you probably could answer that. So
Great input, Jake. I think trust is probably not the best word to use here, but I know exactly what you mean, that maybe it's the self-doubt and thinking you're not good enough to do something. Now, everyone has to start somewhere, and I think when you think you're not good enough for something, you usually have reasons in your head as to why you don't think you're good enough. For example, I don't feel like I can sing very well, and sometimes you tell me like, oh no, you're like in tune at least, it's not that bad. And I would love to sing, and I really like music, and I actually love the act of singing, but I'm always like, realistically, I'm never going to be able to learn how to sing because I'm useless. I'm not very good at it, and I don't think my voice sounds very nice. But you're going to have those reasons. So the best thing for you to be able to to not feel that way is to debunk some of those reasons yourself. So for me, top of my head, I think, oh, I'm never going to be able to learn how to sing. That's not true. Like, I have a lot of time in my life to learn how to sing. Most people, again, don't just come out of the womb and they're pitch perfect and know how to sing. A very small percentages of people are just like freaky talented, and maybe they do come out the womb like that. But singing is one of those things that comes down to training and practice. You always tell me this. So do I have time to practice? Not right now, but in the future, I definitely will have time. So that immediately debunks my thought of like, I'm going to be useless, because all it takes is just practice and learning. How can I say I'm useless at something when I haven't even practiced it or learned it? Next, I probably think, well, my voice doesn't sound very nice. That's just not true either. I literally speak for a living, and although people flame me for like, I don't know, my eyebrows or I'm fat or something, I haven't had many people flame me about my voice yet. So my voice...
Just check the comments down below.
So my voice can't be that bad, you know? So I won't go off to the rest of the list, but if you just slowly sort of debunk stuff and also make plans on how you can change that, you'll be able to get there. A lot of the times the self-doubt is really irrational and is not even based on anything that's truth or truthful. So as long as you can recognize that your self-doubt is a load of bollocks, and all it takes really to get somewhere, as you can probably learn from Boaster, is just like hard work and practice. Because if he sat on his ass and was like, nobody's picking me up, no one wants to play with me, I'm never going to be able to be a good Valorant pro, and just cries about it, then he wouldn't be here, you know? So you have to just pick yourself up.
And get on with it.
Yeah, next question is from Monko in Discord, how to train yourself to become more extroverted. I think it's very, very complex being introverted and extroverted, because I would say that most people think I'm very extroverted, and I am, but you know that I'm also very introverted. I have really bad anxiety, so there will be days where I feel so anxious that I can't get out of bed, or I feel so anxious that I can't do anything, and I just can't do it, you know? Maybe that's not necessarily being introverted, but I think it's qualities of like an introvert. And if you want to become more extroverted, I think you need to be more specific about those qualities. So if you want to become more extroverted, as in you want to make more friends, or you want to speak more, or you want to kind of socially be more extroverted, I think you need to kind of target what you want. But I also say that neither is bad and neither should be considered as bad. I've had people tell me that because I'm extroverted, I'm annoying. Or I've had people tell me that, oh, you're introverted and you're so shy, like you're so weird. I completely disagree. I don't think anyone should be put down, or anyone should feel like being introverted is a bad thing, or being extroverted is a bad thing. So if you want to be extroverted because you think being introverted is bad, it's not. Like, you're completely fine just the way you are. But if you want to become more extroverted for like specific reasons, I think you need to kind of narrow it down. And if you are watching this, feel free to narrow it down and ask us the question again. I'll just answer it next week. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode.
I can't lift many of my arms.
Oh, you poor thing.
I can't do anything stream.
It's okay. It's not stream. Podcast.
Oh yeah, stream. Podcast. Listeners. I
Viewers.
can't do anything.
Yeah.
I got no confidence in my ability to lift my arms.
It's okay, babe. It will pass. It's just the vaccine working.
Oh.
It's okay. I lift your arms for you. What do you need? I'll do it for you.
No, it's okay.
You want to pick your nose? I'll pick your nose for you.
I did it.
I'll wait for you. Hold on.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Wait, no, that doesn't look right.
That doesn't look right
Hold
whatsoever. Why is it down there?
Bye-bye.
Why is it down there?
Well, if I do it like this, it looks like my arm. I don't know how
that's
to
true.
solve it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stop waving. I'll wave two hands for you. Make sure to leave any questions you have in the comments down below. I read them all, and I will see you guys in the comments there. And yeah, signing out. See you guys next week, hopefully.
Thank you very much. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah.